Okay guys, welcome back, and as you can see we are continuing our dive back into the Black series, and today we are going to be looking at Jedi Knight Yord Fondar. I wanted to get to this figure next because I believe Jedi Master Soul is the main character of the series as far as I'm aware. So we're going to be saving him for last because he is an actor that I do kind of like, because I first seen him in Squid Game, because it's the same guy. I'm not going to try and pronounce the actor's name because I don't want to butcher it like I may have been with previous names. But we're going to look at Yord Fondar next, and it's because this guy is very unique in the sense of his lightsaber colour. I believe the only time we have ever seen the gold/yellow lightsaber colour is with temple guards. So, as I've not watched the series, I don't know the context of this character. If he is a temple guard that is in training, thus that's why he has the gold lightsaber, because as far as I was aware, in terms of Jedi canon, temple guards are trained specially and separately from Jedi Knights and things like that. They have similar training, but they get special distinct blades in the form of gold, and then they adorn their sort of white and masked appearances, and they are required to wear those masks at all times as to not show their faces and maintain that sense of intimidation should a Jedi break the rules and go rogue and things like that, kind of like what we saw in a couple of episodes of the Temple Guards when I believe it was Barriss Offee and Anakin started fighting because Anakin discovered Barriss was the one that bombed the temple, and you see the guards surrounding them and they are saying cease hostility, I believe, as if to say they act as the security for the temple. But let's get into Jedi Knight Yord Fondar here, and just before we do, we'll take a quick look at the packaging. He is number 4 in the Acolyte wave. Fairly standard all round. I'm not going to read the bio because it is the same bio that we've read a couple of times now, so it's all pointless. But if you want to check out those previous bios in previous videos, feel free to do so. But you get some nice artwork of Yord here. I don't know the actor's name. I've never seen him before in anything else, so I can't pronounce the name even if I wanted to. But we'll just call him Yord for the sake of this video. And then obviously you get the full artwork shots on the side here. But let's crack this guy open and take a look at the figure as he is. Okay, so we have cracked Yord out of his box, and right away I can honestly say again, this figure is really good. I think the only miss for this wave for me so far has been in Nara, and that's just purely because of what happened with the paint on her robe. Other than that, that was my only sort of criticism of that figure. But so far, the Stranger, Jeki, and now Yord have redeemed this sort of wave for me. I'm not going to say the line in general. I'll do a separate video as to whether I think I will dive back into Black Series because of this line, or should I get some more figures just to sort of really judge it. But I thought I'd pick up a fairly standard sort of 5-figure wave just to sort of see. But right away, Yord is a really good looking figure as far as I'm concerned. Really nice face sculpt, decent hair sculpt as well. No obvious sort of markings or scuff that I can see right out of the packaging. Comes with the standard Jedi Knight robe, which again the hood is sewed down. I think is that standard going forward for Jedi figures that come with robes now. But again, I'll enlist a third party for a wired one right now. Now, this is what shines for me in this wave. especially this sort of series and these looks of these figures, is that as well as the robes being different colours and things like that, they come with these nice shiny gauntlets, which I think is really nice. That's what really jumps out to me. The nice and sort of gold detail, really nice and shiny. Not sure how well the camera's picking that up. Fairly decent detail. And I think this is sort of exclusive to the High Republic era style figures and Jedi, that they wore these kinds of things. I've not read the books or the novels or anything like that. But that's it's a really nice sort of detail, and I really like the look of these Jedis. Especially, like I said, the colour palette is really appealing to me. They're nice and brightly coloured. They look as if like they are in their sort of prime as the Republic and the good guys and things like that. They look like they were at the height of their power and things like that, as the original trilogy said. But let's looking right in. He comes with the standard articulation that we've been seeing so far, so a ball joint at the head and the bottom of the neck. There is a butterfly joint in the shoulders, but you don't get much range. And that's just because, as I said, these Jedi pauldrons, they come over the shoulders a fair bit, so you don't get much. Singular elbow at the joint, and your standard wrist articulation there that can do a full 360 as well. Ball joint at the waist, ball joints at the hips. There's also a hip swivel there as well. Don't think we've seen that on any of the other figures so far. Singular knee. I will say on my copy, my knees are a little bit loose. Don't get me wrong, they stand fairly fine, but they are a little bit loose, so I'll have to get some kiki-jiki on them just to sort of tighten them up a little bit. And then full face and pin for rocker. And does he have a boot swivel? I don't think he does. Oh, yes he does. I've just had to break it a little bit. There is a boot swivel there. So, fairly standard articulation that we've been seeing so far. Now, in terms of his other accessories, he of course comes with a lightsaber. And I really like this lightsaber. I think it is my second favourite lightsaber that I've seen so far. Fairly basic looking, don't get me wrong, but it does have some detail, like some black grip there, nicely done in silver. And then he has like some more black grips on the bottom where the tab is for this. And then, as I said, he comes with the gold blade. I'm going to call it a gold blade instead of a yellow, because it is more of a gold. I think it's meant to be gold. And again, I don't know the context of the show, whether he is a temple guard in training or something like that. I might look at the show just to sort of get the context, or if you guys want to, feel free to spoil it in the comments for me below. I know the show is like a year or plus now old, but I don't want to buy Disney Plus or anything like that. But is he a temple guard in training that doesn't have to wear the traditional temple guard attire, like a mask and things like that? Do they explain, like, when they're in training they are allowed to just wear standard robes whilst they're training and things like that? I don't know. From what I remember in the trailer, he is in a scene with a bunch of other Jedi that are in a forest, and I think they're going up against the stranger at that point, because they all have a big fight or something like that. So is he there for sort of like backup or anything like that? It says he's a Jedi Knight, so presumably he's been trained as far as past Padawan and things like that. And has he got the gold lightsaber because he has chosen to become a temple guard? But he had to go on a mission of some sort. Again, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. But what did you think of this figure? Do you think he is a worthy figure to pick up? Again, as I've said in previous videos, I did not pick these up at full price. I got these on sale. So price at the time, if you paid retail, were they worth it for you then? Or do you think these figures serve as a kind of bitter reminder to Hasbro and to Disney as a whole that this series, whilst it may have seen some success, from what I could tell, the series didn't succeed enough to warrant a second series because it was abruptly cancelled. I have my opinions on that, but I'm not going to dive into that per se, because I'm just here to review figures at the end of the day. But in my eyes, this is a great figure. All of them have been great figures in my eyes, and are worthy to sit on your Jedi shelves, or if you separate your shelving and your displays by series and collections, like if you just have an Acolyte series shelf, or do you display them with all of your Jedi and Sith figures, I still think these are worthy additions to that. And I think they also make for good custom fodder, because as far as I can tell, with the new double neck joints, just apply some boiling water, pop it off at the neck or the head, and swap it with a different head, and you've got an entirely new character. So these are great for custom Jedi as well. But as always, guys, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. The comments are open to discuss as always. And if you could hit the subscribe with the notification bell, so that way you don't miss any future uploads. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.